We need to cue some epic music. This is just a stack of all of the Pandemic games that we have in stock. I lied. There's Contagion as well. I forgot to add it to the stack. All right, so right here you guys can see a pretty hefty stack of Pandemic games. This is a wonderful, wonderful franchise is the best way to put it. So there's all these offshoot games, you know, different ways to play. Pandemic the Cure is a dice-based Pandemic game, which is really, really awesome. That's a lot of fun. And as with all of the Pandemic games, this is an expansion. Okay, as with all the Pandemic games, they're all very difficult to beat, which I think is one of the things that really endears me to the franchise. Is, first of all, when we first opened the store, here's the Cthulhu version. When we first opened the store, day one of the very first games that I was exposed to, that I hadn't been exposed to before, was Pandemic, okay? This is this wonderful, wonderful co-op game. Wonderful, wonderful co-op game that pits you and up to, I believe it's 2 to 4. Yep, 2 to 4 players. Okay, so it pits you and up to 3 other friends in a mission to save the world from, as you might guess, from a pandemic, from different types of diseases. Okay, and I'm doing a terrible job explaining it right now, but let's see here. So basically, you can't really see, here's the world map though. So these little cubes represent different diseases. Everybody has a role to play, okay, that helps you defeat the disease. But basically, you have to cure these 4 diseases from the world before they spread to epidemic level, which is difficult to do. One of the hardest games out there, okay, but more importantly, this was one of the first co-op games that I ever played. Okay, you'd play co-op in video games and whatnot, but I never really played a co-op game on the tabletop. And that was a unique experience for me. You know, being able to play with your friends, again, you know, towards a common goal as opposed to just trying to beat each other every time. So it's really, really a great game. And like I said, the franchise has expanded just since we've been open. So there are different skins to the game, which they're all similar. Obviously, they have the same kind of core mechanic. Man, I can't grab these games. They have the same core mechanic, but they're different skins, and there are different, you know, kind of ways to play and different goals or whatnot to each of these games. So this game right here, Pandemic Iberia, obviously referring to the Iberian Peninsula in Spain, having to do with the Spanish flu in the early 1900s. Just a really cool kind of concept. Not that the Spanish flu was cool, but you know, you have that historical element as where this is just purely fictional. And then when you want to talk about true fiction, there's the Reign of Cthulhu. Okay, so that is another way to play. And from what I hear, this is even harder. You're trying to prevent the spread of madness, as you might guess, with the Cthulhu IP. But you know, it's just really fantastic to see this mechanic of a co-op game spread to these. Okay, then like I said, we have the Race for the Cure, or I'm sorry, Pandemic the Cure. This is a dice-based version of Pandemic. This is even, you know, maybe even more challenging than that. Probably because I can't roll dice to save my life. Okay, but that's another cool variant onto the Pandemic franchise, I would say, but the kind of the core mechanic, you know what I mean? And then there's Contagion, which is a smaller version. This game is a blast too. You know, if you want to play just maybe a little quicker version, it's got a little bit smaller price tag. It's just really, basically, you have your options when it comes to Pandemic. Okay, there's whatever you want, really. And then, on top of that, there are expansions to the base game. Sorry, I got to use 2 tables here, guys. So these are expansions to the base game, and I know there's at least another one. Okay, the Pandemic in the Lab. This one adds... Is this the one that adds a bioterrorist? No, I don't even have the one that adds a bioterrorist. So there's a way to add a 5th player, and I can't remember the name of that one. I'll try to figure it out for you guys. But this one, this is just another expansion. Different ways to play, different elements. I actually haven't had the chance to play with this expansion yet. Okay, and I believe this is the one where you have somebody literally in the lab the whole time. So somebody's trying to work in the lab to defeat the virus while the virus is, while everybody else is out trying to save the world. And then Pandemic, State of Emergency. This one actually increases the size of the board, if I recall. Adds more event cards and whatnot. And if you guys want to see I almost said compulsive, not compulsive. If you guys want to see a, Sarah, what's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know.
Okay. Not compulsive. What is it? Comprehensive. If you guys want to see a comprehensive review, let us know in the comments below, and we will we'll get that out for you, because this is a fantastic game, really, really wonderful, and I'd like to do a better job than probably what I'm doing right now. So let's move on here. Okay, you have these two concepts, and let me set them up correctly. Whoop, all on camera, all on camera. Okay, so first of all, it's pretty clever in the boxing. You see, you got the clock. Okay, but these are legacy games with Pandemic. So legacy games, for you guys that aren't familiar with that, in season 1, which is pretty cool. Season 2 is coming out soon. But legacy games is where one game affects your other games. Okay, and I believe these are it's just the blue version and the red version. I don't think there's a lot of difference. I'd love to do a playthrough of these also. But basically, as you play, let's say you play your first game, that will affect the rest of your games. Okay, so you could theoretically lose the campaign of the legacy game on your first game. Okay, hopefully you don't do that, but being Pandemic, it can be, I can see how that would happen. All right, so basically what you do is you play through the game, and then you change the board. Okay, you change the board for your next game. And the changes are cumulative, and as you play through, sorry about the glare, as you play through, the board changes, and you basically get to a point where either you lose or you almost lose in Pandemic is how it seems to be. But the legacy components of these are fantastic. Like I said, season 2 is coming out very, very soon. I believe pre-orders are already up here, being in the middle to end of September, for release hopefully in October or November. But if this is something you want to see us play through, which I would love, love, love to do that, let us know in the comments below, or on social media, or come into the store and talk to us. If you want to see us play the legacy versions on camera, campaign it out, you guys can watch our mistakes. That'd be fantastic. I'd love to do that. Okay guys, but this has been a showcase of, let me show you all the titles we have. This has been a showcase of the Pandemic franchise coming around here. Available at Acropolis Games 7 days a week. All right, I highly, highly recommend these games. There's not much better of a gateway into, not competitive, not much of a better gateway into cooperative gaming than Pandemic. It really does a good job of, getting everybody to work together. And frankly, if you don't work together, you will lose the game. So that's what's really fantastic about it. It's a difficult game. It's a lot of fun to play. It's very challenging, and you can dial it up or down. Depending on, if you want to try to win a game, you can always dial it down, but it's really a lot of fun to play on the hardest difficulty. So if you want to see a compulsive, there it is again. It's not compulsive. If you want to see a comprehensive review of any of these games, or a playthrough of the legacy versions of Pandemic, just let us know. That's something we would really, really like to do. Always looking for a way to improve our content. And obviously, anything that keeps you guys watching, and if it's something you want to see, you're going to watch it, right? So just let us know. We're always looking for ways to improve. So there's probably something else, but I'm going to forget. So make sure you subscribe, like the video, because it's going to be great. You're going to love it. And let us know what else you want to see. So thanks, guys.